This unit we're going to work on surface area on your formula chart that's attached at the top of your materials page. We're going to deal with surface area. I would usually print this off, so I would suggest you print it off or have a copy of it or take a picture of it and use it while you're working. You're always allowed to have this while you're taking tests. We're doing the surface area. So before I go, and in the surface area, what I've boxed in is a prism and a cylinder. So I am going to make sure that you can recognize a prism. So a prism, this is a picture of a couple of prisms. We have a triangular prism, a right triangular prism, rectangular prism, a cube, these are other ones, and a cylinder. So what a prism is it is two bases, and it's a top base and a bottom base surrounded by rectangle. Here is a triangular prism, and when you name it, and I say triangular prism, the reason I'm having you name it is the first word is what the base is. So if you say this is a triangular prism, the bases are triangles. Now, notice this is a right triangular prism, and the right triangular prism, notice it does not have to sit on its base. So this is a right triangular prism. Beware on the right triangular prisms, you might have to do Pythagorean theorem to find this edge right here. And then you have a rectangular prism, rectangles, and you can flip this any way you want. There's lots of different ways to do it. Then you have a cube, which is just a rectangular prism with squares. And then you have a cylinder. It is still a prism. It's surrounded by a rectangle, but because it's a circle, and circles are snobby figures, they don't want to have the word prism, so they just have their own fancy name, rectangular prism. When we are dealing with these cylinders, triangular prisms, right triangular prisms, cubes, rectangular prisms, you have to know how to do surface area and total surface area and lateral surface area on those figures. Here, the hollow cylinder, the hollow rectangular prism, and the pentagonal prism, I'm probably not going to touch that one at all. These are when I extend your brain and see if we can do it. And what you're doing is you're doing the whole thing and then the inside and then just subtracting it. Okay? The other thing you need to recognize is pyramids. And on the pyramids, all I'm going to talk about probably, I'm not going to do this one at all. The triangular pyramid and the rectangular pyramid or square pyramid. And this has one base raising to a point, one base raising to a point. So now that you know what the formulas are, we are going to go over the formula chart. So you're going to do two different things. You're going to do lateral and total. At the first, I'm going to talk about total. And when I'm talking about total, I'm talking about covering every face and every base with material. So say I'm painting the ceilings, the floors, and all the walls. Lateral, you can say is lazy, is it's faces, no bases. Faces, no bases. And I'll get into how to do that and I'll explain that. So let's talk about S equals pH and S equals pH plus 2B. Let's do this one first. Okay? So on a prism, I have S, I have P, I have H, I have B. S stands for surface area. And all I'm doing is defining my variables. P is perimeter of the base. H is the height. But there's going to be a lot of H's in this, so I'm going to clarify and say this is the distance between two bases. And I'll explain that in a minute. Sorry, my puppy wants to go outside. I'll do this. Big B. You have to capitalize this B. There are many B's in here. There are lots of B's in here. And I am going to distinguish that this is a big B, and that stands for area of base. Okay? So then on cylinder, and I'm again doing total, S equal, just working on total. So I have S and pi and R and H. And I have all my variables. Again, S is surface area. Pi you're going to use is 3.14. You're always going to round, and we're going to round to the 10th for right now. So if you use pi, your final answer is round to the 10th. I'm not going to tell you that every single time. That's what I'm going to tell you right now. R is for the radius. Sometimes you will have a diameter. You'll have to do the radius. And H is, again, height. But again, it's the distance between the two bases. If you will, as you are going to write your formulas, and you go, hey, S, surface area, P, perimeter of the base, H, distance between the two bases, big B, I always call it big B, area of the base, S, surface area, pi, 3.14, but round to the 10th, R, radius, I might have a diameter and divide by 2, H, height, distance between two bases. We're going to get into some problems where H's, there's a couple of H's in the entire problem. You're going to have to take care of your H's properly. The next video is going to be a demonstration on how we go from nets to the formula.